What is happening, wonderful people? So last night I got a chance to go see Mercy, and in this film, in the near future, an advanced AI judge tells a captive detective that he's on trial for the murder of his wife. If he fails to prove his innocence within 90 minutes, he'll be executed on the spot. And that's all I can say without giving too much away. Let's talk about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
So Mercy, when it comes to this movie as a whole and kind of the marketing of this movie, the way they marketed the film, it's actually a really interesting movie, and you would think that this would be a legit fun movie, and the concept is just so intriguing about Chris Pratt's character, who's also named Chris in the movie, strangely enough and funny enough, and he's a detective, and he created the Mercy program, which then we have Rebecca Ferguson, who is the AI judge, but she's also a judge, jury, and executioner, and he's put on trial for being convicted of murdering his wife or something like that. And I talked about it earlier. I talked about it in like the plot synopsis when I was talking about it earlier. He has 90 minutes to prove his innocence, and if he doesn't, he's gone. And I think it's one of those things as well where he has like a threshold, like a guilt monitor or something like that, whatever you want to call it. And if it goes below 92%, I think he's good or something like that. And it's a really intriguing movie, you know, and I really like Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is one of my favorite actors. He always has been. And Rebecca Ferguson, I've never been like the biggest fan of her, but I love her work, and I think she's absolutely phenomenal. She's a great actress. She's a phenomenal actress. And, you know, like I said, with the concept of this movie, you would think that it would be a lot of fun. And you know what? It's not perfect, but I walked out actually kind of having fun with it. So if you're new to my channel, or if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I like to talk about my positives first, then my negatives next. But even when I need to be negative, I will be positive as well. And even when I need to be positive, I will be negative as well. And overall, it's not a perfect film, but I kind of enjoyed it. I really think, you know, it's an interesting movie to comprehend it. I think Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson are really great in here. You know, Rebecca Ferguson plays the AI judge in here named Maddox, and Chris Pratt plays Chris in here. He's a detective who created the Mercy program, but then he gets convicted of murdering his wife, and he has to, you know, in 90 minutes, he has to prove his innocence, and that's where you have your story. That's where you have your overall narrative, right? And, you know, it does a good job of keeping you on your toes. It actually makes you guess throughout the entirety of it, and you're sitting there, and you're like, okay, this is a January film. This is a January movie. And you know what January movies are like. You know, January movies are that's the dumping ground for films, right? And it is a B+ action film. It is a B+ action film, but it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it keeps you on your toes, and it really does have a tight pace for the most part as well. Like maybe like right when it opens, it's very fast paced, but after it opens, when it actually gets into the film, it actually has a good pace to it. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It doesn't really drag, and it doesn't really feel like it's rushed, you know? It takes time to tell this story. It's not really a story that's developed all that well, but I was about to say it takes time to develop the story, but it's not really. It's like I said, a B+ film. Like I said, it's one that you've seen a million times before, but, you know, it is more suspenseful than I thought it would be, and it made me surprisingly tense at times. It did. Like, you can imagine, you know, in real life, if they ever make AI judges who are jury and executioner as well, you know, you could imagine you being put in this seat going before an AI judge, and you only have 90 minutes to prove your innocence, and that would make you scared, because obviously an hour is a long time. You know, even though it doesn't really feel like it. An hour and a half is a long time, even though it doesn't really feel like it as well, you know? And it goes by quickly. It goes by like that. And, you know, I really think the editing is flawless in here as well. I like, because this movie is basically a mix of Searching from a few years back, which I absolutely love, and its spin-off/sequel that I love as well, called Missing. And it's also kind of a mix of Judge Dredd and strangely and funny enough, Tron, like the futuristic aspect of this movie kind of reminded me of Tron. There's no grid in here or anything, but it's just, the futuristic aspects of it. But it's really interesting movie to comprehend, and I liked it more than I thought I would. I really did. And, the whodunit aspect, the whodunit story, the mystery is very intriguing. The mystery keeps you engaged throughout. The whodunit story keeps you engaged as well. The whodunit story keeps you engaged throughout, and the mystery aspect really does work well. And I really think Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson are both great. They kind of play well off of each other, whether it's the the slight jokes, the dry witty humor, or the banter, the arguments back and forth. And it just, again, it does a good job of keeping you on your toes throughout, and it has a great aesthetic and vibe as well. I actually found myself really enjoying the vibe and how it was directed and all that. And with the editing, it's really cool because with it being like missing and searching, you have like the camera footage, for the most of the film, and it's very quick, like edits back and forth, but not rushed in a rushed way. It's very fast paced. It's a good type of pacing, and it's just really, really cool. It's like VR almost. It's really, really cool. And overall, I really enjoyed it. I did, for what it was. But now talking about my negatives, overall, I did really enjoy the film. I did, but like I said, it's not perfect. There are some major issues in here, and probably some more that I can't even think of. Probably some I didn't even write down that I'll probably think about after I'm done editing this video, and I won't put it in the video. But the film was marketed to get people to go see it in IMAX 3D, and that's what I saw it in last night. And the IMAX 3D experience for this movie is very interesting. It's a very odd experience. For one, at times, the IMAX 3D experience is cool. Like, there's moments, mainly towards the beginning of the film, a little bit. There's moments where I was like, oh, that 3D effect was actually dope. That was actually really cool. But then, when it goes on, when the movie progresses, it starts to feel a little jarring. It feels a little jarring, and then when it progresses more and when it keeps on going, the 3D experience is almost non-existent. Like when the movie opens, it felt jarring, but then it felt cool at times, but then the rest of the movie, the second, the third act, it just felt non-existent. And you're like, am I even watching an IMAX 3D film? I don't even know if this is IMAX 3D anymore.
Where are they? Killing is making a choice. Where are they?
And I didn't end up taking off my glasses, but I was tempted a few times while I was watching the movie, while I was sitting there watching it, to take off my glasses and go, wait, is this even an IMAX 3D? And the thing is, with this movie, you know exactly where this movie's going. You know where the story's going, and some of the twists actually do work in the film, and it is a very predictable, it's a very generic, very run-of-the-mill film. You've seen it before. It's a B+ action movie, released in January, and again, like the twists do work. Like it keeps you guessing throughout the entirety of the film, and you're like, oh, so who murdered his wife? Was it that person? It might be that person. I think that person murdered his wife. I have a lot of suspicions, and there's two twists at the end of the film, and at times it kind of does feel convoluted. At times it kind of makes you think, you're like, but I'm confused about that. I don't understand why that happened and how he's even doing that, and what, okay, whatever. And the second final twist that we get at the very end was kind of convoluted. That one didn't make any sense to me. But the first twist we get, I kind of called maybe in the second act, and then in the third act it ended up becoming true, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I figured, but I wasn't completely sure, right? And with how the story's structured as well, there's really no buildup. And I understand, for the story that they were trying to tell in here, they throw you right into it. They throw you right into it when it opens, like right when the movie opens from the get-go. And I understand that was better that was the story they wanted to tell. That was the type of structure they wanted to tell, and I totally get that. You know, and overall, I really did enjoy it. You know, sure, at times the 3D effects are cool, but for the most part, you know, sometimes they feel non-existent. You know, it is a very run-of-the-mill film. You've seen it before, and you know, it's not one that I need to watch again, but for the most part, surprisingly, I had a good time. So yeah, overall, with Mercy, this is a film this year that I absolutely had no expectations for, but I love Chris Pratt and I really like Rebecca Ferguson, and the concept, let alone, was intriguing. So I was like, you know what, I'm definitely going to go see this film. And when they announced it was going to be an IMAX 3D, I was like, hey, I like IMAX 3D would be cool. It'd be really cool. So with Mercy, I am going to give this film a 3 out of 5 stars. And with Mercy, I will say, dedicate your time. If you are an action fan, if you like Chris Pratt, if you like Rebecca Ferguson, and if you heard about this concept and you were intrigued by it, I would say go watch it in theaters if you want to. So that'll wrap up this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, share this video. We just hit 1K subs a while back. We're now 1.2K. And the next big milestone is 2K and 3K after that. Beyond that as well. If you're new as well, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, trailer reactions, movie live streams, movie news, movie rankings, all that wonderful movie stuff under the movie umbrella. And let's talk about it in the comments down below. Did y'all like this movie? Did y'all not like this movie? Are y'all gonna go watch it in theaters in IMAX 3D? Or are y'all gonna wait to watch this B+ action film at home on streaming? Let's talk about it down below. Keep talking movies, wonderful people. Cheers.